Hi there, Deacon John Wilson here, Education Enrichment Director for West Angeles Church, starting off our college presentations. And typically Thursday night will be our night. I like how in the NFL, even though the game day is Sunday, they have the big first opening on another day. So we did that. So here we are Tuesday night. We have a number of college sessions planned for Thursdays in person in our Family Life Center. We'll stream select ones, but I want to welcome you all tonight to this one of our last only streamed meetings. And we're going to introduce our favorite public university out of state, and that's Boise State University. And a lot of you will say, Boise, what? What's that? Hey, listen, 2/3 of my students at Boise State didn't know they were going to attend and never heard of the school until they visited. So to that end, we'll visit in April, the end of the month here. We'll probably visit in the fall too again if I know things around here, right? Boise is one of 10 schools that we really call preferred schools. There's a lot of reasons for Boise State being that way she'll tell you about. I do want to say that during election years, y'all know I'm really real. I just talk straight. Abby's a real good presenter. She'll really do a great job today. I know it. I put you under pressure there, Abby. But anyway, I believe you're going for your master's now, right?
I am, yes. I'm currently
Yeah,
getting
there
my
you go.
master's
So
at
you're here
Boise
to,
State.
so it's a little bit of a sacrifice to be here. That's fine. I just want to say that you all know I send predominantly Black students to Boise State, and they're having a great experience. Uh, some of you will ask, is it diverse? What you really mean is it Black enough? I don't. Every election year that comes up. It's always election years. My daughter went there. I'm up there a lot. My students are treated very fairly. You all might be surprised that where I have the most racial tension with my students will shock you all to know it's New England. I get a lot of crazy, funny things out of my New England schools. Thank you, Pamela's here. Out of my New England schools. But anyway, you can ask her about it later. But anyway, without further ado, I give you Abby Pritchard. She's our admission. How long have you been doing that? You've been dealing with us for a year or two now, right?
Yeah,
Dealing with
so
us?
I actually graduated from Boise State for my undergrad as well. So I earned my bachelor's degree in psychology back in May of 2022, so just a couple years ago, and started this job about 10 days after graduation. And I've had the privilege of getting to serve Southern California, including you all, for the past almost 2 years now. It will be my 2 year anniversary on May 17th in the job. And so I always joke that I loved my experience so much so when I was a Boise State student that I made it my job to talk about it, right? And kind of speaking on to where I'm from, I'm originally from California as well. And so I can even attest to that. Moving somewhere out of state for college, I think Boise is a special city. I ended up falling in love with living here, that I still live here. I don't know if I'll ever leave Boise, but it just tons of opportunity for folks. And just I'll share a bit more soon, but just to give you a little sneak peek, I'm excited to talk with you all tonight.
All right, go right ahead. You
All
got it.
right, I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. Hopefully this works. All
It'll
right,
work.
can you see it all right?
Yep.
Awesome.
Bright and clear drone shot. Probably a drone shot.
Perfect. Amazing. Awesome. Well, welcome to Boise State, or at least virtually. Again, like I mentioned earlier, I'm your admissions counselor. And basically, as your admissions counselor, I'm here to truly support you through every step of the admissions journey with Boise State. I know how stressful and overwhelming the college search journey can be, especially for those of y'all who maybe are just starting that college search journey. It could be a little overwhelming to keep track of the different schools you're interested in, their different dates and deadlines. And so I encourage you to really seek out those people like myself at those different schools. Find your go-to person at those different schools you're interested in. Definitely use them as a resource. Again, like I mentioned, I'll be your go-to girl for Boise State. Any and all questions that you have after tonight, definitely let me know. I'm happy to help, but truly here to help you throughout that entire part of the journey, all the way from those very first questions about Boise State through the application process, and then all of your next steps. So hopefully getting you one day here on our Boise State campus. But just diving right on in.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Diving right on in, I think that as you're starting your college search journey as well, it's important to make sure you not only love that school that you're choosing, love the campus, make sure it has the program you're interested in, but also too, I think it's almost as equally important to make sure you like the city that the school is located in. And so you're going to be living in that city that your college is located in, regardless of whether you initially realize it or not. And like I was mentioning earlier, I think that a lot of students end up coming to Boise State from out of state and really loving living in Boise. There's so much to do. You're truly never bored as a Boise State student unless you want to be, which I kind of think is an awesome problem to have. And with living in Boise, you can enjoy the outdoors, getting outside, whether that's floating the Boise River, hiking the foothills, mountain bike riding. On the flip side of that, also being only about a 15-minute walk from downtown Boise, probably one of the safest, cleanest downtown cities I've personally ever been to, with just such a friendliness and welcoming community to be a part of here living in Boise. I think I've been to more concerts in my whole life the past 6 years than ever before. Just here in Boise, if any big artist is coming to the area, most likely they're coming right here to Boise, even maybe on campus. We have Extra Mile Arena located right here on campus where not only our basketball team plays, also where we get a lot of artists coming out. To give you an idea of the wide range of genres that come from music, the last three music performances I saw here in Boise were John Pardee, who's a country artist, Lainey, who's about probably like indie pop, I'd say, and Polo G. And so talk about three entirely different musical artists, but again, all the shows were super awesome, and being able to attend them so close to campus is great. And so again, like I mentioned, there's always something for everyone, tons to do. So you'll really get to enjoy where you live beyond the classroom. We also get all four seasons being living in Boise. That was something that was an entirely new experience for myself coming from California. In fact, the first time I physically saw snow fall from the sky was during my freshman year at Boise State. So to say I was an experience would maybe be an understatement, but I think the beauty about Boise is that we get over 200 days of sunshine a year. So even on the days that maybe we have some snow or some rain, you can almost always guarantee the sun will be out at some point in time. In the fall, there's really fun events like the start of the school year, our Boise State home football games at our blue turf, which you may have heard of before. We're kind of famous for it, I'd like to think. In the winter time, Bogus Basin is our local ski resort to the area. If anyone likes to ski or snowboard, Bogus Basin is only a 40-minute drive from campus. So super close, super easy to get to. Our skiing and snowboarding club is the most popular club on campus. I think it makes for carpooling up to Bogus Basin super easy and convenient. In the springtime, it starts to warm up again in Boise. The sun doesn't set until 8:30 or 9 p.m. But a really fun event that a lot of the community as well as students like to attend is Tree Fort Music Festival. It's essentially Boise's version of Coachella. We host different artists all around the Boise area, around downtown at different venues. What's neat about Tree Fort as well is maybe you're someone who wants to go into the music industry. Maybe you want to work on that entertainment side of things. What goes on to put on a big music festival like this? Tree Fort's so cool because they give back to our Boise State community. They offer volunteer experiences as well as internship opportunities for our Boise State students to really get involved and be a part of Tree Fort. And often, in turns, they get free fest tickets for the weekend. So what a good perk for getting a really cool experience. Then lastly, of course, we have our summertime. I would say that it gets pretty toasty in the summer, but ultimately, again, it's nice to be able to cool off in the Boise River. If you ever get the opportunity to come and visit campus, like Deegan was mentioning earlier, I know that often he'll try to bring a group at least one or twice a year. When you go and visit campus, you'll notice that the Boise River is basically the backyard of your campus. And so students, again, love floating the river all summer long.
Did it snow this year?
It did snow this year. I will
All right,
say
that's
this
fun
was
though.
probably my most intense winter of my 6 winters here so far. But we only canceled school one day,
All
and
right.
I still was at work even on the day that school was canceled, and I was just fine. And what's great is our faculties, they are amazing. They clean up the sidewalks, salt the
Yeah, I know. I
sidewalks.
was there once. Yeah,
Oh
they do.
yeah, and we have pipes that run underneath our sidewalks as well that help to melt the snow. And so I even wear my normal sneakers all year round. I don't have to worry about wearing big chunky snow boots or anything. Say if you have a nice warm jacket, you can even just wear your normal shoes all throughout the year.
All right.
Moving on to on campus, back to on campus things. We do have on campus housing available for students. Although it isn't required to live on campus during any of your time as a student, I definitely cannot recommend living on campus more. I think it is the best
On
way
this
to,
program, it's required.
well, then it is required to live on
There you
campus,
go.
and it is the best opportunity ever. I
First
met some of
year,
my very best friends through living on campus. Were you going to add something, Deacon?
the first 2 years, I think
Yeah,
you
and
got nice housing. They can do whatever they want after that.
yeah, and living on campus, I think, is such a great way to just meet people right away, start building your community. It's been studies have been shown that students who live on campus do better in their academics, get more
Right.
involved, and have that larger community on campus, which will all the more make Boise State feel more and more like home. I think we're a little spoiled here at Boise State because we have quite a few different residence hall options for incoming freshman students. I believe we're up to 10 options now. We are
Ooh,
super excited to announce that for fall 2025, we're actually going to be having a brand new residence hall opening
where
up
is this?
beginning. Yes, so that will be actually right by the Boise River. It's going to be called Confluence. We're super excited to, and I'll share some more information about it with Deacon, some photos and stuff that we have.
Is that a
We just broke.
refurbished tower? Is it
What was
towers
that?
refurbished? Is it towers refurbished or is it a new dome?
Towers did also get refurbished, where Towers
Okay.
has a gym inside Towers Hall
I
now.
heard. Yeah.
But yeah, Confluence will be our brand new residence hall in fall 2025. So
Okay.
for those of y'all who are juniors right now, you could be the very first people living in this new residence hall. So that could be awesome. And like I was mentioning earlier, of those 10 different options, you'll find that there's probably a residence hall that's a good fit for you. They all tend to have their own unique personality and feel, depending on where they're located on campus, as well as the layouts that are offered. And so you can see here 3 examples of residence halls at Boise State. With Chafee Hall, that's going to be community style, where you share a room with your roommate, and then your floor shares community bathrooms. Chafee Hall, because of its layout, is definitely known to be pretty social on campus, very community oriented. It's also one of our oldest residence halls on campus, and so it really has that traditional college residence hall, college dorm feel to it. I lived in Chafee Hall my freshman year. I loved every second of it. It
Made
was,
a lot of
again,
friends probably.
I made so many friends. I think anytime my roommate and
They're
I
all,
were
they're
home,
all close. Yeah. Yeah.
we had a door stopper on our door anytime we were home, just ready to meet whoever walked by our room next. And again, met lifelong friends living in Chafee Hall. You'll notice with Taylor and Kaiser Halls, as well as our Honors College Sawtooth Hall, that those are more suite style residence halls. With suite style residence halls, as you can see in the layouts, you actually have your own bedroom and then share a common living room and bathroom with just a few other roommates compared to your entire floor. So the beauty about these suite style residence halls is that you get to have that social aspect of getting to interact with your roommates and have that common space with them, but at the end of the day, have the privacy of your own room, to kind of come back to at the end of the day, to have that space to do your homework, or whatever the case may be. And so it's nice because you'll actually notice the majority of our residence halls are going to look more like the last 2 examples versus Chafee Hall. But our brand new residence hall, Confluence, will actually look a little bit more like Chafee Hall with being that community style. And so lots of really great
Ah,
options.
good.
I always encourage students to kind of check out our housing website before, normally springtime of their senior year rolls around, so that they can check out their housing options.
Yeah.
I want to share a little image of a campus map. I think that if you come to campus and do one of our campus tours, you wouldn't believe me when I say that campus is small because we take you on a big loop when you come for a campus tour. But in reality, campus from corner to corner is less than a mile long. So it takes you less than 25, maybe around 15 minutes to get from one end of campus to the other. And so the beauty about that is that regardless of where you live on campus, you are truly never too far away from your next class, from your residence hall, from somewhere to grab a bite to eat. If you live on campus during your freshman year, you'll be able to purchase a meal plan. With that meal plan, that allows you to enjoy food at our two main dining halls, our on campus restaurants. And let me tell you, we have some great food options for our on campus restaurants. We have Chick-fil-A, Starbucks, a lot of local restaurants we've brought onto campus as well, like La Tapatia, which is an awesome Mexican food restaurant. We also have Paddles Up Poke, which is a poke restaurant started actually by Boise State alumni. And so tons of different food options. I promise you won't go starving. The food is really delicious, even at the dining halls. And so students can really enjoy that. And again, as you can see on the map, you're truly never too far away from somewhere to grab a bite to eat in between classes, maybe, or as you're walking back to your residence hall for the afternoon. Moving on to academics, which is why we're all here, right? What college is all about. Boise State is the largest public university in Idaho. We have a little over 16,000 undergraduate students. And I know that that number can seem really intimidating, really daunting. And so it's helpful to know that our average class size is about 29 students per class. And you definitely feel that as a Boise State student. I'm not just making up that number. You'll definitely notice that the majority of our classes are around that average class size, if not smaller. That allows students to have such enriching classes where not only are you truly getting to know your classmates super well, but also your professors. A ton of discussion-based courses where students are getting to interact and do activities and lots of hands-on learning directly related to what you're learning. And so I know that I really appreciated that when I was a student because I'm a very visual, hands-on learner, and being able to engage with my classmates was also super important to be able to do. And at Boise State, we have a little over 200 different majors, minors, and certificates. So I'd like to think we probably have what you want to study if you already have that idea of what you want to do. And if we don't, I hope that we have something very similar or experiences that can get you to that end career goal and maybe a major that's a good fit there too. If you're sitting here right now thinking, oh my goodness, I have no idea what I want to study, know that that is okay. In fact, it's more than okay. I would be lying to you right now if I said that high school Abby wanted to be a Boise State admissions counselor. In fact, I had no idea what an admissions counselor was when I was in high school. And so I will say that for me, I changed my major at one point during my time as a Boise State student, and I truly found my career, found my passion, found the work that I do through my college journey. And I feel like that is truly the case for so many of our students because of so many of those hands-on opportunities that we provide. Again, if you were sitting there thinking, I have no idea what I want to do, know that you are not alone. This is a list from our most recent incoming freshman class, the top 10 majors from those students. You'll notice number one on this list is undeclared. Again, so many students don't know. Yeah. Oh, I didn't know if you wanted to add something.
Go ahead. I'd say,
Oh, yeah. But with that, again, another comforting kind of aspect of that, not only are you not alone, but we have so many resources on campus, ultimately to help you find what it is that you want to do with life after college. And then once you kind of find that perfect job, maybe we can work backwards from there and find that major to reach that end career goal. With Boise State, you actually don't have to declare your major until your junior standing. And so students are able to really use those first couple of years of exploring, taking different classes that are interesting to them, working with our career services on campus, maybe doing a job personality type related quiz, finding some awesome job results that come from that, and finding that major that reaches that end career goal. We also have a really great internship opportunities for students. You can almost test drive your future job through those internships. And so that it really helps students with navigating that process And so don't worry, we won't just throw you in the deep end. You will have so much support from our staff and faculty here as you're figuring out what you want to major in. And I think too, another thing I want to highlight with our academics before we move on is our classes, like I've mentioned, are so hands-on and interactive that, regardless of what you study, you're going to find so much of that hands-on work. Just want to share one example that I always love sharing with students, but my younger sister, she's currently a senior at Boise State, and she took a kinesiology course last year that I had no idea even existed. And with this kinesiology course, they learned all about the science behind weightlifting. So what's going on in the body, what's going on in the muscles as you're weightlifting. And they actually then later in the semester brought local elementary schoolers, local fourth graders onto campus to teach them how to weightlift. And she was telling me they use PVC pipes instead of normal weights because they're fourth graders, and they use the different machines and equipment in our kinesiology department. And I think that that's just such a great example of, again, what exists all across the board. Any major has so many hands-on opportunities in the classroom setting. On top of the classroom, you also can get that hands-on experience outside of the classroom. And so I think one of the very first things I noticed when I came to college was that I had so much more time outside of my classes, outside of the classroom, than I ever did in high school and leading up to college. And so internship opportunities, undergraduate research, and on-campus jobs are three really great ways to fill up your time when you're not in school, when you're not in your classes. With internships, like I mentioned earlier, again, that allows you to almost test drive your future career. Students will do an internship and decide, oh my goodness, yes, this is exactly what I want to do. I can't wait to graduate from Boise State and get into this job so I can start my career. Or maybe a student will do an internship and decide, this is not what I thought it was going to be. And the beauty about that is that you still have time to go back to the drawing board, figure out what it is you want to do with life after college, figure out what that job is that does make you excited, make you passionate, and then you can find that major, change it up a bit to find maybe another internship opportunity to expose you to that. With undergraduate research, this allows you to be shoulder to shoulder with our faculty, solving some of our society's biggest problems, doing a ton of field work, as you can see in the image here, going up into the foothills, going up into the mountains, kind of getting data samples from the field work study that you're doing. And not only is it that experience that you're gaining, but also that connection, the networking piece of it as well. And being able to add that to your resume is super impressive. And then lastly, I would say that if you're a student who's thinking, I definitely want to work when I'm a college student, I couldn't recommend working on campus enough. I think that working on campus is so great because at the end of the day, your supervisor knows that you are a student first and foremost, and they know that your academics is of your highest priority. For example, I worked in the admissions office as a student tour guide back when I was a student at Boise State. A little I guess sneak peek into the end of my story. Look where that led me, here in my current job as an admissions counselor. But again, with that job, what was cool is that my supervisor would always ask for my class schedule before she even created my work schedule. So I never had to be put in that position. Do I go to work today or do I go to class today? Because she always made sure that my schedules never conflicted with each other. It also was nice because my colleagues were other Boise State students who I think were maybe a lot more understanding than if I worked off campus in a job maybe with folks who weren't necessarily students and didn't understand maybe the time requirements that do come with being a student. So again, there's so many opportunities to work on campus. I was a student tour guide. My younger sister, who I talked about earlier, she actually has worked in athletics the past 3 years with equipment management, with our softball and volleyball teams. She also most recently was a nutrition internship with our football and basketball teams. So getting to work at their fueling station, hydration testing, getting really cool experience kind of in the world of nutrition. And so those are just a few experiences. Again, you can really find that hands-on exposure to your future job, even with on-campus opportunities. Another way to fill up your time outside of the classes is through getting involved. Here at Boise State, we have over 200 different clubs and organizations. So many ways to get involved. And we make it really easy for students to start getting involved. I thought it was neat when I first came to Boise State. I was very shy, very reserved. And I think that Boise State was that platform I never knew I needed to find my confidence, find my people, find my community, and ultimately find my voice and, find those passions that make me excited and things I never even knew I enjoyed. I ended up finding through Boise State. We have Greek life, so we have sororities, fraternities, as well as multicultural Greek organizations. We also have leadership opportunities. Maybe you're someone who's currently super involved at your school. Maybe you're currently a part of leadership with your school or with the church. Being a part of any of our clubs and organizations give you a really cool opportunity to also have leadership experience. With our different clubs, these range anywhere from being related to your academic major. You can meet other students who are studying the same things as you. You can find those that are hobby based, like I mentioned earlier, like our skiing and snowboarding club. And so ultimately, Boise State has a home for everyone. And I think joining the different clubs and organizations on campus allow you to have so many more familiar faces around campus and make campus feel so much more like home and being able to find that community. And Deacon, I'd be happy to share after the end of our presentation today. I actually have a list now, an updated list of all of our student organizations. And so I'd be happy to pass that along to you.
All right, great.
Moving on to studying abroad. This is a little bit more getting involved off campus. But what's really cool about studying abroad is that it allows you to continue your studies somewhere else in the world or somewhere else in the nation as well. With studying abroad, I know that sometimes there's some myths surrounding studying abroad. Maybe if I study abroad, I won't be able to graduate in 4 years. Maybe if I study abroad, it'll be more expensive than a semester at Boise State. Maybe if I study abroad, I will have to be far away, have to go during the summertime. And the beauty about studying abroad is that you can really debunk a lot of those myths. And we have study abroad advisors at Boise State who are almost like your admissions counselors of the study abroad. Right. And so they're here to help you through every step of your study abroad journey, all the way from picking that program that's a perfect step for you, applying to that program, making sure you have your student visa ready, your passport ready to go. Again, helping you every step of the way. Students can find that program. Maybe you are really wanting to go to Italy. They can help you find that program in Italy. Maybe you're really focused on making sure you can still graduate in 4 years. They'll help you find programs that actually have classes that will transfer back to Boise State. Maybe you're someone who wants to be able to afford studying abroad. There's actually countries that have a cheaper cost of living than Boise, where your tuition can actually, and scholarships that you have, can actually transfer over to that place where you're paying the same amount for tuition and fees as you would at Boise State. But if the cost of living is cheaper in that place, you actually can maybe even save money studying abroad, which is really cool to think about. And again, you have tons of support in finding that perfect opportunity for you, whether it's one of those reasons I listed or a mix of all three. The study abroad advisors are super awesome in helping you find that perfect opportunity for you. I couldn't recommend it more. I personally didn't get to study abroad, and that's probably my one regret of college. And so I recommend it to any student.
Yep.
We have a student recreation center on our Boise State campus. It's basically our on-campus gym. It's entirely free for all of our full-time students to use. Not only does the gym have 3 full-length basketball courts, we have an indoor track on the top floor that looks down onto the basketball courts. We have a number of different machines and equipment, pretty much any gym equipment you would expect to see at any other gym. Also a ton of different workout or fitness rooms where we actually have student-led fitness classes ranging anywhere from spin class to HIIT classes, to different strength training. So many different ways to kind of utilize the student recreation center. On top of that, we also have our outdoor program office located in the student recreation center. If you're someone who maybe wants to try new things outdoors, I think you may want to check out the outdoor program if you come to campus. They put on so many cool events and excursions for Boise State students to go on for very affordable prices. I feel like, especially coming from California, I was shocked at some of the discounts that they had available for our Boise State students. You can do anything from paddleboarding to white river water rafting to hiking trips. So lots of really cool, fun ways to get outdoors, get involved, meet other people who also have those hobbies and interests, and again, really find a really cool community. And then, of course, we also have sports at Boise State. I like to look at our sports in three different levels. So our bottom level, least competitive, least amount of fees to join. You're just forming a team with other Boise State students is our intramural sports. Now, before I go any further, I have to say least competitive with a grain of salt, because if you were to go to one of the intramural championship games,
I have.
oh yeah, you would maybe think you're at, the NCAA March Madness championship game, because sometimes those games get super intense, super competitive, super fun to watch. We have so many levels even within the intramural sports, where whether you've played the sport your whole life or tried it for the very first time at Boise State, there's an intramural level that's perfect for you. And I think all of our students definitely get competitive when they're wanting to win that championship intramural t-shirt in their photo in our student recreation center. And so we have anywhere from spike ball to bowling to football to basketball, you name it. There's lots of fun intramural sports opportunities. Then the next level of sports right above that is our club sports. With our club sports, I would like to compare our club sports to varsity level for high school or club level for high school. With our club sports, you actually still have a set practice time, you have a coach, and you actually get to rep the Boise State uniform, travel around the Pacific Northwest, competing against other schools, against their club teams. We have over 20 different club sports. And so I think this is the perfect opportunity for those students who maybe want to continue the sport that they love, but not quite at that time commitment and intensity that is Division I sports. Club sports are still super competitive, again, allow you to continue to play that sport. Also build such a great camaraderie with your teammates. Some of my best friends were on our men's club soccer team, and they got to travel anywhere from Washington to California. And they even played a championship game in Texas the day after he graduated. And so those are really cool opportunities for students as well. But of course, at the very top, we have our Division I sports. And so we have 16 Division I teams here at Boise State, and we are a part of the Mountain West Conference. I think we may be most known for our Boise State football program. I am so beyond excited for Boise State football for this year. We have a new head coach who our team is so excited about, as well as bringing in so many new players. And the team is super excited to kind of have fall come around so we could start playing. And with our blue turf, it is such an awesome atmosphere. The blue is more electric in real life, believe it or not.
Yeah.
It is so cool to go out to each and every one of those home games and cheer on our Broncos. Our basketball team has made it to March Madness the past 3 years. We haven't gone quite past that first round, but hey, we've made it the past 3 years. So I take that as a win. I think one of the best parts about being a Boise State student is the fact that maybe if you're not quite that D1 athlete, like I know I wasn't when I was in college, the coolest part is that all of our full-time students actually get free entry to all of our home sporting events. And so our students are going to football games, basketball games, gymnastics meets, you name it, for absolutely free, which for Division I school, I think is kind of unheard of. So now that we got to hear all the fun parts about Boise State, how do we get you here? So Deacon, do we have any current seniors right now in the room?
I have a couple hanging around.
Awesome. So if you're currently a senior and if you haven't yet applied to Boise State, I would definitely encourage you to do so. If you've already applied and have been admitted, some of your important next steps are going to include setting up your My Boise State account and submitting your intent to enroll. Your intent to enroll basically reserves your spot in our incoming class, and it allows you to apply for housing and register for your new student summer orientation session. For those of y'all who haven't applied for housing yet, and if you're a senior, I would definitely recommend doing so. Our housing lottery application window actually closes April 5th. And so any student who's applied for housing between March 18th and April 5th will have an equal shot in that housing lottery which will determine the order in which you're assigned housing. I'm happy to connect with you more if you have any questions about those steps. Moving on to fall 2025 students, so any of my juniors or anyone younger than that, typically on August 1st is when our application opens up each year. You can find our application just directly on our Boise State website. When I tell you our application is quick and easy, I'm not lying to you. The application maybe takes 10 to 15 minutes to complete. No essay questions. We truly just want to get an idea about you as a student, some kind of general information from you. Once we get your application, with that, you'll also submit a $50 application fee. Then you'll send us your in-progress high school transcript. That is really all we need in order to make your admission decision. And once we have your application, the application fee, and your transcript, you'll know your admission decision within the next 2 to 3 weeks. And so it's a super quick turnaround. And so for those students, maybe if you're super excited about Boise State after tonight and want to apply early, you will maybe even know your admission decision to Boise State by September, which is really cool to think about because that's not too far away.
That's happened.
Yeah. And so
one coming your way like that. He applied in August.
that is so awesome. And that's one of my favorite stories to hear because I would encourage all students, whether you apply early in August, definitely apply by December 15th of your senior year. So for those students who are juniors, you're going to want to apply to Boise State by December 15th of 2024. So of this upcoming year, because we actually have some automatic scholarship opportunities. I know that Deacon will probably want to share a little bit too about some opportunities that he has to kind of share here with students too. But just to kind of give a little glimpse into these opportunities that students can receive. Essentially, if you apply to Boise State no later than December 15th of your senior year, then automatically based on your unweighted total GPA, you can receive one of our automatic non-resident scholarships. And you can see that these range anywhere from a $5,000 a year award all the way up to our WUI scholarship or Western Undergraduate Exchange Scholarship, which is valued at $15,224 a year. And so again, just by applying by that date, students are automatically considered.
Yeah, I'll talk about that at the end, I guess, a little bit.
Perfect.
Maybe right there. I mean, that 224 has a GPA requirement, but for our students, how do I say this? I know she can't say it so well. It might disappear to 3.5 requirement. That's all I have to say. And we already have 2 students that are getting that this year. And it really makes it less than a CSU in most cases. Go ahead. That's good.
Yeah, and thank you for sharing that, Deacon. But that is truly it for me. This is my contact information. Feel free to take a photo of this slide or scan the QR code. I know I'm based here in Boise. I try to get out to Southern California as much as I possibly can. Deacon, I know I'll be coming in the fall, so I'll have to connect with you and try to get a visit out.
Let me know. I'll give you a tour of a new building and maybe you can see students that day and whatever.
I would love to. But I also know because I'm based in Boise, I try to be as available for my students as much as I possibly can be. And so you'll actually notice if you scan that QR code, I host virtual appointments, one-on-one appointments with students, whether that's over the phone or over Zoom. And so I'm here to support you again. Please use me as a resource. I really do mean it. Any questions about Boise State, come to me. If I don't know the answer, I'll find it out or connect you with someone who does have that answer. I, again, am here to make hopefully the admissions journey with Boise State as easy and stress-free as it possibly can be. But again, that's my contact information. Deacon also has all of my contact information as well. And so I'm sure he'd be happy to share that with you all too after today. But I'll go ahead and stop sharing my screen. And I don't know if you wanted to add any more, Deacon, because I know that you're a father of a Bronco.
Yeah, that's true. I often forget that. My daughter went there and she had a great experience. We've sent about, in case you're wondering, parents, Ramon's better at this than me. I think he told me he's keeping count. But can you believe that? I believe we sent about 40 students to Boise State. Only one didn't finish. We've got about 17, 18 that are having great careers. They seem to all do so well. They're so well adjusted coming from there. I think it's a lot of reasons for that I can tell you about offline. I've actually thought about it. You've had 3 or 4 that settled up in Boise. that are having great careers. One got transferred to Phoenix and got upset, their company, but we've been going up there for a while. In fact, it was Bishop, our pastor, who's now retired, that first pointed out Boise State to me many, many years ago, because he had a pastor friend that was there. And I went up there kind of skeptical, and it's been a great opportunity for our students, for sure. Let's see if there's any questions out there. Anybody, any parents have, just go ahead and shout them out, or give me just turn off your mic and ask the question. I know Sister Gabriella's there, and I got Rio and Miles. Rio's there. That's my guy. Sister Terry's there. If you have any questions, Sister Daphne, any late? I guess Brother Leek, I guess you're seeing this presentation for the first time, and your son's considering the school. I'll take questions right now. Go ahead, Sister Terry.
I don't know if you guys can hear me. I'm on my
Oh yeah, we can hear you.
AirPods. Okay, good. So my daughter is not too keen necessarily on leaving California at times. So I really need some bullet points, some arguments for our
Hey, see me
discussion.
offline. I can argue for one. I have a great, matter of fact, I'm a cover. Oh, my next 11th grade, you're so timely. My next 11th grade meeting I'm going to have, Quinn, you can tell me when it is. You know how I am. Could you look it up? We'll make sure you're invited. That's one of the things I'm going to talk about, the trade-offs of going away. And now I have about 3 schools. If I was sending a student away, because of my connections with the schools, Boise's one of them.
Right.
Because I just know my way around. I could see the kids all the time. I'm up there quite a bit. Sometimes personal vacation, whatever. But if you're going to do one away, do one sort of close. And it's pretty close. Hour and a half straight flight.
Yeah.
That's why I love Allegiant, but that's another whole story. I love Southwest. They go direct. And what can I say? There's other schools too. I mean, you got all those CSUs. Some of them are very nice too as well. But if you want to get away and have a great experience, here's what I say about my Boise State. This will be interesting. Oh, it's April 21st, Sister Terry. We'll make sure you're invited. Make sure she's on our list. Quinn Terry Hawkins. Just make sure she's on the list. My students, when they're going back to Boise State, super happy. When they come home, they're happy. When they want to go back, they're happy. It's a happy life.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's really what you want, you know, from your student. But anyway, you have to decide that for yourself. I'm glad you're here to get the information for her. And she'll get a chance to meet Abby in September. If Abby speaks, we'll have Abby speaking again and online, you know, and who knows, the Lord may give us a chance to have her in person at the Family Life Center. I'm going to figure out.
I was going to say, we can convince Ramon, I'm sure. We can convince my boss.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk to him, because I'm gonna invite him to the opening of the center. So once they see the center, I got them.
Yeah.
Got it. And then just to clarify, I noticed, Abby, on your information, there was no ACT or SAT scores, correct? Are you guys waiving that still for COVID?
Great question. So the fall 2025 admissions criteria has not technically been set yet. However, historically, we have been test free, so we have not required test scores or even reviewed test scores, even if they were sent to us, for the admissions process for now probably the past at least 4 years.
Got it.
I would be really surprised if we brought that back.
Me too.
I would be really surprised. And so truthfully, we're just looking at that student's unweighted cumulative GPA from their freshman through junior year grades. And if a student has a 2.8 unweighted cumulative GPA or higher, then they meet our automatic admission standards typically and will be admitted to Boise State.
Hey, don't worry. If you need the SAT, I got your back. Got some great SAT prep. Don't worry. I got you covered.
Yeah. Thank you.
Anybody else? All right. Well, let's check the chat out. Make sure I'm not all right. And in the chat, we have our class of 2025 meeting, which will be on April 21st, general information sessions. Our meetings last about an hour. I think you'll get a lot of great information, including the question she asked. I actually do cover it in meeting number 2. I forgot I covered it, so you guys, and I talk about it all the time, where they should go. I talk about everything from 2-year college all the way up, and I talk about going away versus being big city versus large. I go over a lot of different ways in that meeting number 2. Maybe you'll have your daughter there. She'll enjoy that, I think.
Okay.
All right. Anybody else? One of those seeing no one else kind of things.